Hello, everybody, and welcome back to BLS Beeman live stream with Leo from Metaplex. Leo, good to
Let's
have you again,
go.
man.
Super good. Excited to be back for the second part, and excited to be back like live coding and uh, and having fun because that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about. I had a lot of fun last week. We got shit done, which was great. Um, we got to the mint. We didn't do it in half an hour, but for everybody that didn't see last week's show and wants to catch up, you can Google for BLS051, and that'll get you to the good stuff. Um, we also have a repository. The one that's down here is for today's stream, but if you do BLS051, you have last week's stream. And yeah, I guess introduction was done there. We know why Metaplex Core. I guess we can briefly touch on like what the goal is for today, and then just dive right in.
Yeah, I guess. What do you say today? We might add some guards to the. We might add some groups actually because that's super interesting. And I guess if we have time, why don't we create a staking program for the NFT that we just minted?
Yeah, staking NFTs, super interested, and it's something that we can just natively like enable, right?
Yeah, like you don't even need the smart contract. You can just do everything in TypeScript with Core.
Yeah,
So
amazing.
that's something that it's really interesting.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, so as mentioned in last week's program, I'm part of the Metaplex Grant Council, which originates actually from Dean's List. So I'm not part of Metaplex, but I do help this team advise which people get grants. And one of the reasons I want to do this is that I get a better understanding of what is possible. Because right now, somebody might file a grant and say, hey, I want to do this with Metaplex Core. And then I don't realize it's actually built in. So if somebody would say, I need to build a stake contract, I would probably say, yeah, sure. But it just exists. So some nice discovery here. That's one of the goals of the show. Cool. Let me actually pull up the app so we can look at what we did last week. So that should be here right now. And I'm going to quickly verify if there's anybody in the chat. iCoder.sol, nice buddy. Good to have you here. And yes, this is really great. People are checking in. We're not going to pull up chat because we really do want to focus on the work. So I guess for those that weren't there and for those that were there but need a little bit of catching up, we basically implemented this script, right, where we do this bunch of steps where we first upload the metadata, the collection PNG, we create the JPEG, link these two together, and then we do the same for the assets. This is also where we made a mistake last week because we didn't upload the asset JSON. So in the repo that I pushed on GitHub, you can actually see this in the history, so you can see what I did to fix it. So we do get to a working system. So that's the assets, and then we create the actual collection on chain. So we invoke a create collection from Metaplex Core, passing in UMI and the details here. And then lastly, we create a candy machine with the, I guess, single guard config. So there's just one guard. And then we can run this. So I made it a bit more pretty, a bit easier on the eyes. So if we run this script right now, I got it here in package JSON, so I can just pull it up like this. vPair is not set. Fair enough. I need to copy my env file from the previous project, and that should now be done. So this runs just as we did last time, but it's a bit cleaned up, and I did fix the asset issue. So if all still is well, then this should get us a candy machine address and a collection address that we can link into the front end, hit the mint button, go to the Metaplex Core inspector and see that we got an NFT. So I can already pull this up. I can pull up my dev wallet here and do my login. Now, there's a bunch of these that I already minted last week right after the call while I was cleaning up the code. So we should get another collection of this. And then initially, it'll only be the collection NFT, the asset that actually uploads, that identifies the collection, right? And then we can mint a bunch of these. So that's all good. That's ready to do. This is on DevNet. Just a huge price drop here, unexpectedly, but so cool. And if I go to the Explorer right here, we should already see the same collection I got here. So collections here below should say now 2. This is the new one that just got created. And it should show a bunch of my core assets right here. So this all looks to be going pretty well. One small thing I wanted to note with regards to my demo, and we didn't really look at it last week, but if I go into collection and check my assets, I actually have an assets JSON for all of these, like in the repo. So instead of like manually crafting these, another way to go about it would be to like read this from disk and then replace this URL here, whatever somebody thinks is easier for them, I guess, here as well. So
yeah, exactly. It's usually that's why like the CLI does it for you. Like the core the candy machine CLI usually does it for you. So yeah, but you're totally right.
yeah, and also it went in line with how it went last week, right? So you guided me through it, and I also didn't really realize it, but then after it inspecting, it's like, hey, I actually already have these things, and you see that you can set like fees and all of that. But we're not going to use these JSON files today. Now, this all went well. I got my collection and my candy machine here. So I'm going to go to the front end here and update these two. And then the last thing is verifying that that actually works. I guess I just put it in the home connected thing. Yes, here we are. So collection, we're going to paste that in here. And we're going to paste candy machine in here. And then go back to our app. This is the one, hits the mint. This should trigger the wallet and approve. I'm not going to say that there's one thing that I still don't really grasp, because first let's try that this works, but it doesn't seem that we have any errors. We also don't have any confirmation. So in a real life app, this is clearly something that you should like do confetti or something like this. But once we get in this collection, we see that I just minted number 4. So that's kind of the base of it. This is what we got last week, more or less. It now works. But yeah, this is the main thing. That was the goal. This really helped me. Now, there's one thing I'd like to ask. I'm not sure in the meantime if you have anything to say about what we did so far, any input?
You were perfect. I don't have anything to add.
Beautiful. Okay, love it. So there is one question I already, well, in our chat, I told you this morning. That's kind of confusing, which is down here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit just so that viewers on mobile, etc., can like get a better view what we're looking at. So when we set up our guard, we should specify that it charges us what I suspect 0.1 sol.
Yeah.
Now, if I go here and hit the mint button, then I think it doesn't do that. So it charges me 0.003, which I suppose is mostly rent.
Yeah.
And a bit of transaction fee.
Interesting. So in theory, you should do that. And I tried to replicate it, but like it seemed to be on my side that it actually minted it with 0.1.
Okay.
So I'm really not sure what's I don't know. Could it be like just the confirmation? So like after you minted, actually the transaction goes through and sends 0.1 sol.
Let's see. I think that would be something that would surprise me. We do log this thing. I guess I can just pick it down here. Once we did, we actually have a transaction here. So we can go to Slan Explorer on DevNet and look at that transaction. And then we should see the first account is the signer.
Oh, interesting. It doesn't send it. Wow.
Right. And so from what I understand, and this is like if some of you watch are binge watching Sol Andy's video like I do, I learned a ton of this. This is basically rent for this account, as far as I understand. This account should be owned by the, I guess, Metaplex Core program. which we can't see here, but we might in another. But that's not really interesting. And then there's a difference here, which is the transaction fee. So I didn't do any compute budget or anything, so I should just pay, what is it, 500,000 LAN ports, I guess, for a transaction.
Yeah, I'll look into that. It's very strange. You shouldn't do that.
Okay, good. At least that means that I'm not totally crazy, which is always nice to have confirmed. So, so yeah. Cool. So I think while we're at the subject of guards, we might actually just look at it. So I guess my idea is just we make a bunch of updates, recreate the collection, and basically extend the same thing. We have a perfectly fine copy of whatever worked today. So yeah, we're free to make changes. So let's try and get to do that. Get it to do a guard groups, I guess is what they call, right?
Yeah. So let me maybe tell the viewer like something about the guard groups. So pretty much, as you can see, the candy guard are super easy to do. But if you remember, and if you were like here, or like 1 year ago or like 2 years ago, where there were all the hype mint, usually the way that people minted NFTs were like in different tranche. And so the thing is, you don't need different candy machine to, for example, create different phase for each mint. So, for example, if you want to create like a whitelisted mint that start at a certain time, and then follow up with a public mint that maybe the price is different, you can actually set up different groups, and that's where the candy groups name came from.
Yeah.
So pretty much it gives you the possibility of like creating different phases, but the very cool thing about it is that it creates the possibility even of creating parallel groups. So you don't need to say from a certain point to a certain point you mean this, from a certain point to a certain point you mean that. You can create parallel groups with like different requirements, for example. So one requirement could be, I need to burn an NFT to get a new one for free. Or at the same time, I can spend 1 sol and get one. So the group are completely independent between them. And for example, if the requirement, like you could decide even, for example, to mint in sol or USDC. So no different requirement for the user, but the user can just decide if minting in Sol or minting in USDC or minting in ERC, since they saw the wallet.
It's the one that has a logo on DevNet. That's the main reason why it's cute. This should be the DevNet USDC, but I think that's like a super common pattern. So like if we want to create a comment here, we can say we have a bunch of groups. Just make sure that it's still legible. I think I'm streaming on 720, which kind of sucks. But yeah, that's what cards were dealt today. So we can say we're going to have like, I don't know, I guess a realistic first group would be a whitelist. Like this is the in crowd, right? So whitelist based on wallet address.
Yeah.
Sure. So you need to either have this, and then clearly we could say, hey, whitelists are so OG to get them for free. But I think usually they say like, yeah, whitelist, you have a special price. So maybe we can do the whitelist like 0.1 sol.
Yeah.
And then, sure, bot tags, if that's what's needed. It's kind of an implementation detail, so I'm not going to add it. It's not like an end user requirement. It's more like something we do as a good practice. And then could we say either 0.1 sol or like 15, let's do 5 EURC, so I'm left with a bit more.
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
Okay, so say this, or 5 EURC payment.
So I'm thinking that probably if we put it in the same group, it will ask for both.
Got it. Okay, so we do need a group 1 sol and 1 for euro.
Yeah.
And then do it like this.
Yeah.
Great. And then after this phase happens, so today we're just going to do all these phases at the same time, but I'd love to specify at least the date, and we're just going to set the date to today. But like they all start, but then we at least have this idea of like, we might actually kind of tease the first group and say, need to mint it, that they need to mint it within 24 hours. So just like this. So we could like limit the end date, and then for the other ones, we can say that the price doubles. So that's like 0.2 sol. And they have like 72 hours to mint. So we could say something like this. And then the other group for EuroC, 10 euro payment. This is like this. Does this make any sense so far?
Yeah, this is perfect. I think this is perfect.
Okay, great.
So I guess the way, so before starting, so it's you will see that it's very, very easy to create like all these different groups and stuff. The only thing is we will need to give them a name. So for example, we could call them wireless URC, wireless Sol,
Yeah.
and everything else pretty much.
Sol.
Yes. And sorry, this name usually we call them label.
Okay, perfect. Let's use the right nomenclature here. The label is whitelist Sol. Label is public Sol. And then it should be starting off public EuroC.
Yes, let's go.
Okay, perfect.
Great. Cool. So the way to do that. So one cool. I keep forgetting and remembering new stuff. Actually, you can even still specify like, so you'll see how we specify all the different group guards, but you can even create like a guard that is like the basic guard. So it's like it doesn't have it's not from the group, but for example in this the way that it works is like these guards are allowed on all the different groups before. So it doesn't matter if we group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, but if they're in the guards bracket, they're still available for all the groups.
Are they enforced for all of the groups?
Yes.
Okay, so
for all the groups, yes.
So I guess that would be the place where we do bot tags and then have bot tags handled for the whole shoe.
Exactly. So we don't need to specify it for everything, but like we need to specify it only in the guards stuff.
Amazing. I'm gonna do a quick shout out to our friend Happy Pirate. Buongiorno.
I love you, Steve.
Love you, Steve. Same here. Fratello e brother. Brother in Dutch and Italian. Yeah, Steve's the best. See you in a bunch of hours, Steve. We got a secret call. Don't tell anybody.
Anyway. I'm
jealous. So, okay, cool. So this bot tags, this is kind of the global one. Applies to all the groups. So that's good. Okay, so that's we got the first one already. I imagine we can get rid of Sol payments here, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because we're gonna put it in the different stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So what's next? What's the syntax here?
So the syntax there will be groups. No, actually, yes, groups, and then we should open a vector and an array. Sorry, not a vector, an array.
Yeah.
And then inside of the array, we open the other brackets and exactly, and it's like label, guards, and
it's just doing it for me.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. Okay, so instead of having bot text, then I guess the way to look at it, then actually groups is a kind of container.
Sorry. I think so. It shouldn't be inside of guards. It should be outside.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. This should be the
Yeah. Okay. This is also what autocompletes. It didn't autocomplete here. Okay. So we have guards here. Bot text applies to all groups, and then we have the first group. Let me actually see if my editor likes this. Yes, it does. And then let me quickly. So the EuroC one. I'm going to let it autocomplete, and I already see that it doesn't do this timeline date. So we will have to go into each of this. Actually, maybe it's better that we first prepare one and then have my autocomplete do the rest.
So in this occasion, we will need the Sol payment, we said, and we will need the we said the whitelist, right? So
Yes.
to do the whitelist, we're gonna use the allow list card is called. So before that, we will need to create the allow list array where we
Okay.
will put inside like all the address that we want allow listed, and then hash it into a Merkle tree.
Okay. Fancy. I
Yeah.
always feel fancy when I'm involved with Merkle trees. So let's do that. Let's also do another, just a different wallet that I have connected here. Oh. Hey. So these can just be strings for now, I imagine.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I do my Samui wallet. Whatever, it doesn't really matter too much. I guess I got one here. So just I have a bunch of them to test with. This one, and I add them here. Great. So these are my allowed addresses for the first two whitelisted things.
Exactly. So before moving down, we need to create the Merkle root. So yeah, Merkle root, and we're gonna get Merkle root from the candy machine. Should be
Okay.
Merkle root allow list.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
And great. So I think we can just paste in the Merkle root into the allow list, and we should be good to go.
Okay. Do we need a sum maybe?
Yes, we need some. Open the exactly.
Object.
Yeah, just Merkle root. Yeah, that's it.
Perfect. Gonna do alphabetic ordering. People addresses are allowed to mint. Okay.
And do we want to add the time as well?
I guess so. It would be kind of cool if I can run this tomorrow and not be allowed to mint.
So for that, we will need the end date.
Okay.
The end date card is called.
Okay.
So we can just we don't need to create anything beforehand. So we can just go in and set end date, sum, date, and we're not going to use new date, but we're going to use date time. That is a function that is inside. I think with the
I like.
Yes.
And we're just going to put in a UTC date timestamp. Right?
Yeah.
2025. What is it? 02/26. Let's do 27, which should be tomorrow. Then I guess at midnight I should no longer be able to do it. Let's give me one more day, because I don't know if I'm going to fix this today.
Nice.
Okay. Cool. This is really good. I really like that I don't have to calculate like dates. And,
it's way better. It's way better for the user.
Yeah. And I guess in order not to repeat this, it kind of makes sense to do also. So it's easy to like repeat this. And then we should be able to pass that one in here.
Great.
Amazing. And then I guess if we now say, hey, do this, then it'll almost work besides the besides the euro.
Yes. For that, we're going to use the token payment.
Okay. Token payment.
And so for the token payment one, let me actually look at the doc, because we need to put in some stuff actually. So we need to put the amount first.
Okay.
So 5. Then we need the mint.
Okay, let's pick this one. So I'm gonna go here, token URC, and then do we need to make that a pub key, or does it accept?
Yeah, it needs to be a pub key.
Right. Okay, so we're gonna do pub key from Yumi, public key. So like so.
Great. And now we need the destination ATA.
Destination ATA. Okay, so we need to have a ATA, which is associated token account for the receiver.
Yes.
So what is the account that the receiver is going to receive it on? if this is like sounds like Chinese, go check Sol Andy because he can teach everything about this. Or I
And
guess do a
do we have,
classic
oh,
read,
sorry.
or I guess classic read fucking manual because the manual also tells you.
Yes. And do we have MPL toolbox by any chance in the repo?
I'm not sure. Is that coming from? Is that another package?
Yes, that's another package.
Let's get it. If we don't, I don't think we have it. Let's do it. Let's install it.
Great, because we actually have, so that's something like this is the real alpha about Metaplex. Actually, when you work with token, when you work with system program, Metaplex offers so many helper that makes your life so much easier using the MPL toolbox, the MPL toolbox package that pretty much creates like, it's like some branch for Yumi. So like all the helper about like system program, token program, rent, like everything that you think about it. Pretty much.
That's super awesome. I don't think I really paid a lot of attention to it. So I'm just going to quickly share it here for the people in the back, I guess. So just going to have it here on stream. MPL Toolbox.
Yeah, it's such a shame because like it's so useful, but it's so unknown as well. So yeah.
Yeah. Now I guess, and this is kind of what we already spoken about last week. Like the Solana Web 3.js, the classic one, will be deprecated at some point. I don't know why. When? I know why. I don't know when. But I personally, this is just me guessing. I suspect this before the end of the year, it'll be deprecated. I don't think they'll fully support it. And this is an interesting new variation of touching grass, or not eating glass. Sorry, chewing glass, not touching grass. New idea of chewing glass, because now you have to pick: are you going to build a new one and then be left out with a bunch of tools like Yumi, like MPL Toolbox, etc., etc. But also things like Helios SDK, All Domains SDK. All of these things depend on Solana Web 3.js Classic. So yeah, this year is going to be the year of a whole bunch of deprecations and new versions, I think.
Yeah, we're working right now on supporting I think probably Kodama already supports Web3.js 2.0, and so right now we're literally in the process of updating all our SDK to be Web2.js to be both Web2.js compatible and Yumi compatible with Web2.js.
Very cool. Yeah, looking forward to seeing that, because honestly, I started a project, a new version of Web3.js. I was totally set my mind to it. Then I needed a bunch of external stuff, and very rapidly changed back, which wasn't great, but it was kind of like,
Yeah, 100%. So from the MPL toolbox, we're going to use the find associated token PDA.
Amazing.
And then, that's super easy to pretty much just use it there when we're in the destination ATA that we did before.
Okay, so destination ATA, and then this takes
It takes mint and owner.
But it also takes Umi.
Yes, right. Yeah, and always Yumi, and then open the parentheses.
It told me Yumi, open an object, mint, owner.
Yes.
Perfect. Now, one of the things that I already don't like is that this is stuck here. So let's also be good boys and do this at least. So now this can just be mint, and this can just be mint. And the owner we know, because that's the person who executes this, which is my wallet at this point.
And so what we need to do right now is just, we need to say that we're going to just use the first object of this sum, I think.
Yes, of course. We need to do the 0, 1. So let's actually then do it a bit different. Wherever I define the mint, I'm also going to do the associated token PDA. Just going to put it here so somebody can just figure out this is what you need to do in order to get that. And if this goes too fast, there's a scroll button down here. You can scroll back and play it. But yes, we now have token payment. Now, what I'm wondering about, having worked with tokens for, well, since like quite a lot, it's been my main entrance into Solana, honestly, doing a lot of token movements. Does the token payment guard takes care about decimals, or do we need to tell it which decimals are minted
No,
as?
it takes care about decimals.
Sweet, I like that. So we can just say the amount in whatever entity it is, and it'll help, and
Yes.
it'll work out. So I guess that also mean we could say it's 5.5 euro.
Yeah. Interesting. I think so. I don't know if it takes a fraction actually.
Let's start with 5.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. So now we have the whitelist set up for euros and for token payments. It's I guess equally straightforward. It's a few instructions. I mean, token payment is one parameter more, but the idea is really simple. You need to know which token you're sending and then the amount, and it will take care of it. So this is amazing because tokens, there is a bunch of details among them. Decimals is one. The other one clearly is token versus token 2022. So which token program, and it's all supported, I assume. I can just pass in a token and it will figure it out.
Yes. Exactly. Oh no, actually no. We have token 2022 payment. That is like another card.
Okay, interesting. I'll say that's great to. Okay, that makes total sense. If you want a token 2022 payment, you need to use this card. Just commented it here. Okay, that makes total sense. So it does handle it. It just needs to be explicit.
Yes.
I think that's totally fine. That's I don't see any issues with that. Okay, anything left here?
We need a non-whitelist guards, groups. Sorry.
Perfect. So these two are done, and then the public groups. Let's start with public. Let's see how smart my AI actually is. Public Soul.
Pretty smart.
It looks like it's pretty smart.
But the end date is the other one. We can let them finish at the same time, or we can create a different time.
I think we can say end date public.
Yes.
This should be 28. What I do 29, 30, I guess. 30 of February is going to be a really long time before that happens. So let's make it 1st of March. And I'm going to actually call this one the whitelist so that I just make it specific. Search for end date. And now these two fellas needs to be the whitelist. And these two fellas want to be the public.
Let's go.
Amazing. Yeah, run it.
Let's run it. Hopefully it doesn't break anything.
Let's see. It's I guess if it's anything like last week, there might be something. That's the moment where we learned. Actually, iCoder, I think, was the one that tweeted about this. Like, yes, something went wrong, and it's good to see people like us.
Yeah.
Who some people might think we know it all. That's not the case. I mean, the developers I admire most still feel like they're fucking around and finding out stuff while they're going. It's part of the job, I guess.
Yeah, and if you don't break anything, are you even coding on Solana? It's like, it's impossible.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. And another thing kind of to mention, so we're doing this upload right now. Again, this is, as far as I know, on DevNet for Iris as well. So this will at some point be nuked. I think in like 3 months or something, they clean it up, right?
Yeah, so we added support for Turbo. That is the new pretty much Iris. So Iris pretty much switched to the oh wait,
we have an issue.
So it's a big int. Interesting.
Yeah, let's take a second, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. So yeah. Turbo is.
Yeah, so pretty much like what Iris was doing before was settling on Arweave, but having the possibility for like every chain to pay in their native assets.
Right.
And that's why we were using Iris before. Now we still have Iris, but Iris decided to create their own layer 2, and so they're gonna settle on their own layer 2 instead of on Arweave. So if you want to keep using Arweave for like the main stuff, you can use Turbo, and Turbo pretty much is like the equivalent of what Iris was, with like some additional feature that I think makes it super easy to use. For example, the manifest. Manifest is like a deterministic URI. So instead of, for example, pasting like having the URI like always random, you can by creating a manifest, you can have like a specific URI, and then for example 0.png, 1.png, 2.png, and that will help a lot with the Candy Machine space as well, because then you will just need to say 0.png, 1.png, 2.png, etc., etc.
That's actually a great point. And so one of the things I had to do for getting these config lines in after I show, because the asset, there's like 16 assets and it would just choke. Transaction limit, you already alluded to this. So I built like a very simple loop. So I do a bunch of these. So I create a bunch of transactions, and then I transact a bunch of times according to number of groups of links. And that would be not an issue if we just have to say 0.png, etc., etc. So that's an optimization. Another thing, I guess, in my use case, well, one of my use cases for Metaplex Core is that we'll probably be hosting all of this somewhere on Cloudflare. So we don't really care too much about it. Should be on something. We want to be able to replace all of this with one git commit, and we just really manage these NFTs. So this is kind of something that we wouldn't have to deal with.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, error time.
Big int, interesting. Where does it coming from?
Yeah, this is a very interesting one. What I would suspect from looking at what we've built here is that I was kind of surprised that the amount on the guard was just a number, whereas the rest is all is wrapped, either lamp ports or this. So what I would, if this was my first guess,
The same.
Yeah, this would like pass in big int here instead of just amount.
Could be. So looking at the documentation doesn't seem like it, but might be actually. Because it doesn't make any sense to have like probably like I don't think we're using big int in anywhere else other than that. So
okay, this is really good. I am gonna think so, because now we do the upload again and we had something nice to discuss. But if we're gonna be iterating, we probably want to print the list of assets and load that one instead of recreating all of these. So because this is clearly this is something that happens on the end of the whole flow. I think what we're most interested in, I also like how I just started like somewhere in the middle, started coding, started editing. That's live streaming for you. So yeah, here where we do the assets. So all of the assets should have been done here. So if we can skip the two ones, and I think the asset config lines is the one we actually do something with.
Yeah, we need to specify it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go here, search for this, loop over the asset config lines, and then create these transactions. So for the next time we run it, I'm just gonna print the lines while they're here. And then...
So one thing even we can do, one thing we can do is like, we don't even need to, like we can set up like 16 assets, but we can still create the Candy Machine before uploading it. Or so we can like skip over the creation of everything. We can just create the collection because the collection needs to be created, then skip over the creation, and then we will still be able to create the Candy Machine without uploading the asset inside.
So that's interesting that you mentioned this. So, okay, it didn't fix, so that's good. It's consistent. So here, step 2 is basically uploading all of these assets. Now we create the collection. I guess this is also, as you just suggested, this is something we can kind of skip because nothing changes on the collection. We do all the work on the guard.
Yeah, but we will need to create the collection just because it's an argument that we pass in the candy machine, and it gets deserialized as a collection to just make sure that it's actually a valid collection. We don't need any asset, but we need the collection still.
Okay. And another thing I was wondering about, you can have an X amount of candy machines for the same collection, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So one thing that we can do, I'm going to quickly add this console log so that we just have all of the assets in case we need it. Just replace them there. We can do the same with the collection and just reiterate the last step.
True.
Okay, and then so this should be there, and the other collection we've already printed. So let's run this while we go look at actually fixing it, because my big int fix wasn't it. And then one thing that's always interesting to know, if you're debugging stuff and something doesn't fix it, you probably want to undo the change and not move on with this change, because this can clearly help you get stuck in a place where you don't want to be. So this was not it.
So it's interesting because could it be the? I don't think so. No, the date couldn't be it because we actually say that that needs to be that.
Yeah.
So
I guess classic debugging 101 would be, okay, let's first get one of these groups working. And because for whatever it's worth, it might be happening inside allow list, which I don't think happens, but you never know. So if we can comment out the Euro groups and the public sol and the this one, comment that one out, and the other one as well. So now we have one left, and then with the one left, we can actually even start saying like, hey, I guess would this make it free?
Yes, that will make it free.
Let's make it free. Let's check only the allow list. So have a minimum guard. It's bot tags plus allow list. And then in order to not run this again very at the same time, we can just say, hey, this here, I need to properly select it. This is going to replace the code that I found right here. So where I do the console log. Do a bunch of them, actually. So we're going to say const asset config lines equals this. And we're just going to get rid of all of this here. Now this might break something else. Collection metadata URL. So also something we don't need to upload again. So we can just polyfill that one as well. Collection metadata URL. That should be this one.
We actually don't even need that because we can just pass in the collection pub key.
You're right. Yeah. So we take the collection pub key. So collection this one. Yes. So collection key pair. This is the one we're going to override. So this is going to be a public key of that. Then we shouldn't need this one, which should have less errors, which is already good. So I hope people can follow along because it's messy if you don't know what you're looking at, but bear with us. And as said, the beauty is there's always a way to do it with less speed. So okay, so we kind of simplified this thing. I am going to remove this outside of the definition to just make it a bit clearer. So here's our groups. We now only have the base guard and the allow list. So I'm going to run this again. Hopefully this works without doing all the work. And yes, we get to the error message straight away. That's great. So this makes testing a whole lot easier, but it also is kind of like confusing because now it happens here. So I guess the next thing would be get rid of the whole group. Only have a bot text in a normal guard. Let's see if that works. Bro, also does not work here. This is interesting. We broke something that happens before. This is really interesting. Somebody in the chat has a clue? Please scream. Oh, there is a scammer here.
Oh, sorry, I was muted.
Okay.
Sorry. So, do we have? Yeah, this is quite confusing actually. Do we have anything between the creating candy machine and because it doesn't seem even to be like how's it called, a Yumi error?
Okay, 150. It says line 150. 150, candy machine keeper.pub key. This shouldn't be it. I mean, we can totally not do this.
Oh, it's is it maybe something in the Merkle root, like in the?
Yeah, that might be it. Merkle root. This should not now run. Shouldn't need to run. Still happens.
Or like something there still, like, or some of the, because I think it's going to be some of the constant there. Like I don't think it's a Yumi. Like it doesn't even open the SDK because usually the SDK. Yeah. So like, oh yeah, right. Yeah.
Just to comment this out, and then whatever below depends on this. So I'm just going to be commenting like crazy man. This still fails. So we're bottling down. And this is, I guess, for people that might be new to coding or might not really know this is just the easiest way to exclude where is the actual error. It's just like you're going to comment out, go back to the point that worked, because reasoning often doesn't help in this sense.
I think it's daytime. I saw like some daytime error in the error. I think, yeah, daytime TS on. Interesting. Yeah, like up the anonymous stuff. Like if you go down,
yes,
down, and you see that yeah, exactly. One line down, and there is
daytime.
So that seems to be the problem.
Interesting. Create bigint value of a datetime. Datetime input here is a datetime string or a bigint input. So they say it can be this, which feels similar to what we've done, but it's a bit longer.
Oh, the second we're missing.
Yeah, let's get all the stuff after the T. Pop that into here. I just want this. Pop it in here. Restart this again. And then it's still not working. Okay, that's good. And then let's, just for the sake of it, do a new date in both to see if that fixes it. It does get rid of the error. Okay, so that's interesting. So we're going to undo a bunch of changes that I made because all of this worked probably fairly well. We know where the issue is right now. So we can go back to where we had like one, I guess the uploading we can get rid. We're going to go back to where we have just a allow list and we'll be appending on that. So we don't need these right now. That's, I guess, the point. So now if we run it, we get a different error. Beautiful. Okay, beautiful. We have an error, an actually legible error. The provided
maximum 6 character. I forgot about that.
Perfect. Group labels can no longer be longer than 6 characters. That's fine. In Solana, you have to really figure out string sizes and all of that stuff. So let's just call it, I guess, GRP1. Yeah, GRP2. So they don't need to be really descriptive, right?
Yeah, no, they don't.
So we just have group 1 to group 4. We're going to restart this thing again, open the terminal. And now we're creating.
Seems like it.
We're cooking with fire, sir.
Seems like it. Guys, this is the beauty of a live stream. You can see us chewing glass still. Like, it didn't make any sense that error. Like, why? Like, literally, there is in the docs. It's telling you you should do it like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. So yesterday, actually, in the grounds council, we had a big back and forth of what's there, and like I realized that I'm actually the only iCoder also does development, but like the most dev out there. And I was talking about stuff like, yeah, we need like templates, and we need like, and then I was like, create Solana dep, and then Mark, one of the guys, kind of leads the whole program there. He was like, oh, are you on your computer? Can you actually share what you're talking about? Because I have no idea. And then I realized, like, yeah, they don't know what old tools we play with and like all of this stuff. And I spun up like create Solana dep. I just did like create Solana dep templates, and I kind of like, yeah, now you have a project. He was like, can you show it? I was like, sure. And he was surprised. He was like, oh, wow, you got all of this stuff set up, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And I guess the point I want to make with that is, for a non-developer, it's always super hard to figure out what takes a lot of time and what's like a super quick win, because somebody might think that it cost me like 2 hours to set up a base project, but that's like 5 minutes at most, probably a minute. But like figuring stuff out that just should work and doesn't, and you have an error message and you don't know how to like nail down where it is, this will take a ton of time.
Yeah.
Great. So I guess now we can add this candy machine, but I guess we can add a bit more conditions, because I think we kind of nailed this problem. Let's leave the date out for a second. Let's just do the sol payment, because this was also something that we kind of had going, right?
Yeah.
And then we can do this, and then here as well. Just get rid of the end date for now. Let's not worry about the end date. Then we can do the same with the groups, and again, comment out the end date. So this should be our full 4-group minting, and that's what we then can pull in the front end and do.
It seems to be working. Wow.
Yeah. Well, without the end date, that's good, but this is definitely progress.
I'll take it as a win. I think we got the Solana part right at the first time, so I take it as a win.
Yeah. This is I agree. Now, one of the things that I kind of already alluded to in the last stream is, for your front end, you actually only need. We might have spoken a bit too soon, sir.
Interesting. That's for the config line though.
Yeah.
But before it was working, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm happy to run it again just in parallel while we inspect this. Okay, so this, the first transaction seems to be successful.
Interesting. And then the second broke.
Just gonna run it one more time. Just the naive way. Yes, I want to get rid of this one. So what I kind of alluded to was, like, you can pull in the candy machine and then get the collection address from that. And that's what I suspect would be the most normal way, because you don't really need to duplicate these things. Let's see if this then moves on, if this was just a hiccup. I also like how it says 0 of 2 and then probably says 1 of 2. Yeah, there we are. Okay.
Nice.
Great. So cool. So we have this mint now with the 4 groups. So I guess we can quickly go in here and say, this is our candy machine. And then we should be able to say query candy machine, and then do a use query from React query, do the candy machine. And is that get candy machine?
I think it's fine. Let me double check 1 second. It's called fetch candy machine.
Fetch. I love it. Fetch candy machine, passing in Umi, passing in the candy machine. We're just going to quickly verify if this gives us what we want, because if so, then yeah, cool. That kind of helps us here. So we want to see a little loading indicator if it's loading. And then if not, we're going to create another stack here. Don't be bothered by the UI because it's not super interesting. And
I
then
love that Beeman is doing everything like this because I totally suck at TypeScript. So I can't even imagine doing what Beeman is doing right now. So I'm very thankful.
amazing. I'm glad to hear that that's useful. It connects to the wallet. Okay, it does find something here. So that's due to me wanting to do this. Long story short, we fetched our data. It cannot print big int. I'm going to be very nasty here and do a .to_JSON search my big int patch. And now we should be able to print. Hey, there
Let's
we go.
go.
Let's go. Yes, TypeScript is a very interesting enemy or programming language, however you want to call it. It's good. So yeah, we fetch now this thing. This is how you would probably do it in a front end, where you like fetch the thing, so you make sure it exists. But also because this has a whole ton of information, and this is something like the reason I know it is I already inspected it while I was trying to figure this out on my own. But this is then collection mint, which is great. This should match the one that we have here, 3A MHB. And it also says how many items you have redeemed. So this can allow you to make like a progress bar, right? So you have like 0 out of 100. Or
if I can stop you 1 second, the mint
Please.
authority is the mint card. So where every data about the card will be.
Amazing. Yeah. So this is then how these things work together, and which is part of the candy machine, right? So this is not something we specify on the collection itself.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, exactly. It's like all the guards and groups that we created, instead of like being in the candy machine account, just because it's like the candy machine account is already big because we have to save all the config lines. So there probably will be not enough space to save even like all the guards, all the groups.
Yeah.
So the groups are in a different account, and to make sure that these are enforced, we give the mint authority to the candy group PDA. So pretty much it's like you need to pass into the candy group program, and if like all the checks that are into the candy group program go, this will create a cross-program invocation that for everybody that is viewing is pretty much like a call between two different smart contracts. That this is possible on Solana blockchain because of composability. So pretty much it's going to create a CPI into the candy machine program and mint the asset.
Yeah, awesome. At some point, once I'm a bit further with Candy Machine, I'm probably going to invite Keith, who I think built a whole bunch of this, and then I'd love him to see like Metaplex Core under the hood. Let's look at program structures, whatever heck you needed to done to get shit working. I'm still not there yet, so let's first see how we can use it. But yeah, this is super interesting. And then yeah, all of this data is interesting for your front end. I think here we see actually the items that you will be able to mint.
Yeah.
Which is something I didn't know was a feature until I started working with it. I think you can kind of create actually a mint page that just shows the assets that are mintable, right? So you can just populate this. Is that the idea behind it, or is it just this how it needs to work?
So both, like the idea behind it there, but it's even because to make sure that, for example, you can double check your math. It's like it's all this data is already in the account, so might as well just like show up when you use fetch.
Yeah, this is really great. So these are all the line items. We have 10 loaded, which is interesting. I would suspect we have the 16 loaded, but let's.
Oh, maybe then it failed again, the second one.
Maybe. Actually, I items available 10.
Oh, that's why it was failing before.
And config line, asset config lines 16. So
Yeah,
this is
that's
0
why
dot
it was
16.
failing then.
So actually this one should be asset config lines dot length,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. Are we going to run it again?
If we want, yeah.
Let's do it. It's free. It's DevNet in the end. Okay, cool. So this is then the candy machine, which we can already kind of pop up and load inside our front end. That shouldn't hurt. Now I'm also interested in what do we do with collection? We need collection here. So this is something that's collection mint on the actual asset. So let's, in the meanwhile, change that. So we can say collection equals query cm.data.collection. If it's not there, collection mint. If it's not there, we're going to error out. So this makes the one obsolete that we have over here. And then I guess also in a real life application, you would probably have a whole layered cake where you'd like fetch stuff somewhere, do stuff somewhere else. But that's not something we want to do today. I'm going to hit save here. This refreshes, fetches the new one, which is AU3AA, matching this here. And now let's see what we got. Items available 16.
Nice.
Sweet. And this is then all 16 items loaded, 16, sure. Now, the other thing that I learned while debugging this is that, yes, the mint authority is actually the guard. And if we want to understand how it guards, we can also pull in that one, right? Is that, should we look at that one as well?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It's going to be, I think, fetch candy guard probably.
Yeah, okay, so I'm doing another, so now this is kind of interesting now because I depend on this one being loaded first, and then I can load the other one. So what I'm quickly gonna hack together, and bear with me here, friends, while I try to do this somewhat understandable. So this is basically our candy machine result. So we will want to return that in an object. And now this will be CM result dot collection mint, and I guess that's the only place where we need it. And then it does give me access to the guard, which is CM result dot mint authority. I'm gonna make this an async operation, and then gonna say CM guard equals await fetch candy guard, passing in UMI and this. Let's make this a bit simpler. Let's make this available here. We don't need that. We don't need that.
Nice.
So if that is all correct, now we save, it refreshes here, it reloads, and now we say candy machine data, it consists of this. And hey, I expect this to be... Yes, CM results. So this is the candy machine. So let's make this a bit more easy. Candy machine, that CM result, candy guard. Perfect. So now we have candy machine loaded here, same as we just had it. And we have the guard, which is probably the most interesting one for us. So header, this is just, as far as I see, the account info fetched from Solana. This is just regular Solana account data. And then here we have the guards. I like how it specifies all of these plugins or all of these guards with the option of none. It's super verbose, but I guess that's super nice if you want to do like a conditional UI.
Yeah.
And then group and guards. Now, one question I already kind of have, do you know if the structure of this guard, like the shape, the interface it takes, is it the same as the top level guard?
Yes.
Okay, so I can just reuse the same logic. If I have like a method that says, hey, I want to show the right buttons to do stuff,
yeah,
I can pass in the same thing. That's amazing. Okay, cool. So then here we see our group one and group 2 should be down here. And that's all. Yeah, okay. Works as expected.
Let's go.
Cool. So what do we, I guess, instead of having a mint, we want to have like multiple buttons for each of the group 1.
Yeah. And we want, and the only thing that it's not great, like it's the only thing way you can do it. But if we remember last week, we did a mint v1, we needed to pass some parameters in. And now we need to do for each guard as well.
Yeah, so this was the mint v1. So this is our actually mint function.
Yeah.
Where we pass in this one. Is mint args the only thing we're going to change?
Yes.
So one thing that we can do, I'm not sure if this is typed. Mint args. There's a whole bunch of things that look like mint args. I guess. Default guard set mint args. I love it. Default guard set mint args. So we should be able to pick this up, pass it into the function, and then we have our function a bit more generalized. So we then say, hey, pass in an object here, mint args, which should be the same.
Yes, exactly. Yes, and the other thing we will need to pass in, and you might need to want to add there is groups as well.
Okay.
We need to specify what group we're trying to mean from.
Okay, so this is going to be inside here.
Yes.
Got it. And this is already
a sum and the string of the name.
Interesting. So we pass in the name.
Yeah.
Okay. Sum. And then just the name like this?
Yes.
Okay, so we can say group name. And that's of type string. Great. So we do sum group name. No, just do group name, please. Yes. Now this then already here breaks because it says, yeah, I don't know which group name you have. I mean, I guess I could just hard code it like this.
Yeah.
But that's okay. But actually, we do want to loop over these groups. So if I check Candy Machine guard, it's just right on there, right? CM guard.groups. So I think I should be able to say
all true.
Query CM data result groups or an empty array. No, CM guard dot groups. Default guard set, guard group of default guard set. I like it. And then we're just looping over these things. So we're going to say, pass in this thing, pass in the label, get rid of the original one. And now we should have 4 buttons, group 1 to 4. Amazing. Also going to put this actually in a UI group, which makes them like this. Perfect.
Wow.
Okay, one of the things that I like to do here is kind of debug whatever we pass in, because that is something that's going to help us down the line. Because right now, the only mint arguments we pay in are here. But if we actually look into our mint args, they are a bit more evolved than just a random mint. So I'm going to go ahead and actually have us give us a little sneak here. We're going to actually print the whole group so we can just actually check it out how it looks like. Now, this again will get messy, but in group 1, we don't have our bot text, but we do have the bot text from the main level.
Yeah, exactly. So we need to, so one cool thing that we probably need to do. So let me think about it. I think so this might not be great, but we will still need to pass the bot tags into the mint arg.
Okay. For now that works though.
Yeah. So it's like it's set to none, but in reality is some if it's on the let's call in the general candy, the base layer of the candy cards.
Okay.
Also, yeah, we'll need to be some there.
Okay, some.
Yeah, sorry.
And then, like, this is how we have it in the back, right? Or in
Yeah.
the script, I guess.
Yeah, I think it was set. Was it set to 0.1 or 0.01? I don't remember.
Bot text 0.1.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
Great. So we add that one here. We add our sole payment. Now for the initial one, this will probably work. Destination is the
Yeah.
same.
That's great.
Should we try and run it, or do you think we want to do something else first?
No, we need to add the other. We have the allow list there, and we have the so to do the allow list, we will need to get the data from the allow list that we did before, and we will
Okay.
need to get the proof for one of the address.
So we kind of need that whole Merkle root stuff, right?
Yes. No, yeah. Not. I think not the Merkle root. We just need. 1 second. Let me. Yeah. Yeah. We will not need the Merkle root. We will need just the array of like allow list.
Okay. And we're gonna move that one up here. And this is also good to, like, once we're building stuff like this in the real, yeah, you want to have the stuff available at multiple places.
And we need we need to create a valid Merkle proof that is derived by the array there, and the pub key that in this occasion probably will be connected.
Yeah, wallet connected to wallet. So and that's that's in this case also my Yumi identity signer.
Yes.
So I can do something like Merkle proof.
Equal good Merkle proof, allow list, Yumi identity. I think Yumi identity is actually allow list. Allow list and then Yumi identity. Yeah.
Now it says leave as second parameter and then index.
Interesting. Okay.
Is it that pub key? It's pub key. Takes Unity identity.pub
Oh,
key,
okay. Nice.
apparently.
Oh, because it needs it as a string and not as a pub key. That's why, right?
Okay, cool. So this gives us the Merkle proof for this one.
Yeah. And
Okay.
so then we just need to pass in allow list some. I think then just 1 second. Just the Merkle root. And then
set it to the proof.
Yes, I think.
Now this one is still not happy. It's not assignable to some Merkle roots, not assignable to Merkle roots. Type option is not assignable to nullable allow list. Now just to make sure, this is the...
Oh, never mind. I did an oopsie.
Okay, no worries.
We still need to pass in the Merkle root, not the Merkle proof. Never mind. Don't mind.
No worries. So we can just take this one then.
Yeah, exactly.
Move it up here. See where we use proof. Here we just pass in the Merkle root. Okay, yeah, and it's internally it can match this thing because it knows which wallet's going to sign for this transaction inside Yumi. So this is how it probably matches this up.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I was just double checking the documentation, but seems to be right, hopefully.
What do you think? Should we give it a stab?
Yes, because we don't have the time set, right?
Yeah, we don't have the daytime limitations.
Ship it. Let's see.
Okay, let's see where this goes. Yes, this will take my super safe password for development. Now it charges me 0.0001.
What happened to that candy machine? It's really, I don't know.
Okay, I reward $10 in USDC or in any of your favorite SPL tokens if somebody can create a pull request that fixes this. The BLS052 repo. So quick way to make $10. Go fix the issue for us. I'll test it. I'll tweet about it. So that's kind of a promoting people to work on open source. Okay, there was something happened. Some transaction got transmitted. I guess it's there. It even gives me a signature. So this is fairly bullish. Now I need to figure out why my my browser is not responding, which is kind of a shitty thing to happen during a live stream. It's not great. Chrome is it's back.
Nice.
Just need to scare it up a bit, right? So let's check this transaction, which was successful. That's great. Nothing exploded. I paid. So the dollar fee, I also paid for the transaction. I paid it to my candy machine, interestingly enough.
Yes, because so every payment goes to the candy machine, and then because like instead of wasting it, like you still need to specify the destination, but it's like you can claim all the SOL into the candy machine using the withdraw function.
Amazing. Okay, very cool. Yeah, and then we go here. So it invokes the candy guard, as you suggest, who's actually doing the mint. Then it's this guard. This is all, I mean, it all says what it is, so don't need to repeat this. And then eventually it'll do the transfer from my wallet of the SOL. And that's it now.
Oh, actually,
Do I have an error? Interestingly enough,
yes, this is the bot tax working.
I was just thinking about it. I got text.
Yeah.
How am I gonna get this money back? It's just a
Yeah.
is it a tax or is it a fine?
Unfortunately, this is a fine.
Great.
Unfortunately, this is a fine.
Glad we're still in DevNet, sir. Okay, interesting. Yeah. So missing allowed list. So there's definitely something on the front end that I need to say, hey, I do own this thing. Let's go in there. So what
I made an oopsie because actually, so before to mint with the allow list, we actually need to add the route instruction, and that's where we need the Merkle proof exactly, because I was remembering that we needed a Merkle proof somewhere.
Yeah.
But I forget where. So
what is which?
So we need to entirely add a new instruction.
Okay, in the mint function, that is.
Yes.
Huh. Okay.
So we can just do yeah exactly. We
create a new function.
Yeah, let's do that, and then we can just do dot add, like get the instruction and use dot add.
You want to add it to this transaction?
Oh yeah, actually maybe, but yeah, I'm thinking about it because so would be better to add it there, but at the same time we don't need this root instruction when we don't have the whitelist.
Exactly. So like we can do conditional here. So we say, hey, if we have whitelist, we need to do something. We need to add Merkle proof.
Yeah.
And then mint tx2, let's do this. So now we just add, like, we split up the transaction and sending out of each other so we can add stuff to the transaction, right?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we could, I'm thinking, maybe we could actually do it in one single transaction, but like by adding two different instructions there, or no?
I think so. We should be able to say,
yeah, exactly.
Mint tx add.
Okay, so the only problem is the route will need to go before.
Okay, so then I guess we can just get the mint instruction.
Yeah.
Const mint transaction. I guess new transaction.
Builder, new transaction builder, I think.
Okay. Interesting. Instruction array is not assignable to transaction builder's input wrapped instruction. Does this come from Umi?
I think so. Yeah. Transaction builder comes from
So one thing to note is that this is already a instruction array.
Yeah, because so maybe instruction 0.
Okay. My God.
No.
Also doesn't like it. Does not like it. Okay, let's undo this for a sec. And so we do need to do a Merkle-proof instruction before the instruction that's here. You
Yes.
said. Okay. And this is for the whitelist.
Yes, only for the whitelist.
That does mean that we should be able to mint group 3 for
Yes.
Sol and the other ones. Shall we check if those ones
Let's
work?
do that actually. Yeah.
Okay, just so that we're making some progress here, because that's another, I guess, great tip that Grandfather B likes to share with the kids. Now, with all due respect. If you're stuck on something for let's say half an hour in normal life, move to something else. You'll figure it out eventually if it's not pressing. Now on a live stream, this is clearly not going to be half an hour of us banging our head. Well, just to move something else. There's always enough stuff to find out here. I see a lot of people that are stuck one day on getting something to work, and that's not productive, clearly.
So I think the GRP3 will fail because we have a different input. If it succeeded, but I think it will fail.
Again, bot text.
Yeah, I think you got bot text again. No.
Well, bro.
No, you didn't. What?
Approve. All green lights here. All green lights. So I should see. And then the huge question is, which one is it? I
guess. Interesting. You should have just one.
I should have just one. So it's probably this one, 5. But we can check this, because if we go here, view and explorer, we should say A 3 a.m. HB, which I think it's AU3. But that's not the collection ID. We're interested in the collection ID, which is 3 a.m. BH. So this is the collection. I just minted one. I should be able to get a second one if I approve this. And this goes through. Now, normally you clearly have a spinner and a pop-up. It also seems to me that it does finalized confirmation. I'd love to have it just confirmed.
I think we can set it the pre-flight. No, sorry, not the pre-flight, but the commitment. We can set manually.
Okay, this is now there, and then I'm going to open this one up again, and now, lo and behold, we have number 3. So we're minting into this thing.
Do we want to try the group 4 then? That it's without whitelist, but with the token?
Let's do that. Let's quickly check. I got a whole 20 of these. So that's all.
Hopefully I didn't tell you a lie about the decimal. I'm pretty sure that the decimal are auto-handled, but now I'm double guessing myself. So hopefully I didn't lie to you.
Let's see. But it's also for you a great way to learn stuff even in more detail, which is always fun. Let's actually do the commitment thing. So for those new to Solana, you can set commitment. That's has to do with how long it waits before it considers something settled.
Yeah, it's in send and confirm there. We just need to open the curly bracket, and we can just set
an object here, and then for the confirm, we want to set commitment is to confirmed. Now, a lot of debates about this. For in the history of Solana, with all of its, I guess, 12 outages, there's never been a confirmed transaction that has been rolled back. So if somebody is worried, okay, this is might not be safe, might be. This is what Anatoly told me when I asked him about it. So this is, I guess, closer from the source. You can't really get it.
Yeah, and my word is not as valuable as Stoli, but I would have responded the same.
It's glad that other people also agree. And yeah, so I'm going to run it once more, and it doesn't charge me. And also here in the confirmation, now I suspect this one is botting me, because now I do the group 4.
Yeah, it's botting you, and I know why, because we didn't set the token argument.
Okay, great. So, but then if we look at group 3, it still doesn't charge me the 1 sol. 0.1. It actually should 0, but 0.2.
Man, I really need to look into that. There might be a bug then.
So group 3,
like it's there.
sol payment, base points. Yep, this is the thing. And then alluding to decimals, it needs this here. Anyway, so that's kind of a thing.
So the thing is, probably even like the GRP3 should have actually bot tax you, because we set the wrong LAMP ports.
So is it something that you think I should set on the front end, and that then I should be in agreement with myself, so that the transaction that my UI is crafting should add in this LAMP port? So that's maybe something we can do inside of this one, but there's no other, like, LAMP ports here doesn't give me anything. It does it.
Oh, am I down? And that's why?
Now, the interesting thing is, I guess, and this is something to find out, again, not something we're going to do on stream today, but it's still not charging me the same thing. So I'm not suggesting I found a bug here, but there's definitely something that's not logical to me. And then somebody here is watching who is in the node, they might bang their head and like, dude, you're so stupid. You can't even mint fucking NFT.
Put a note on the side, and
yeah,
and I'll double check with the.
Yeah. So I'll just add a to-do here. Why is this not working? Thank you, Super Maven. Okay. Actually, let me see. Now, interestingly enough, so what I just realized, now we loop over these groups. We have 4 different groups. We have 4 different configurations, but I'm passing in the same arguments. So I guess one proper way to handle this, have like a separate function that takes one of these groups and returns you back a mint arguments object.
Yeah.
With all of the stuff that's needed. So. Yeah, so this is the thing here. Yeah, I'm wondering how interesting it is to dive deep into here. There's definitely something here that's not really working as expected. That's might be our knowledge, might be something else. Maybe we can shift away and actually start looking at the other functionality that we had set out for today. I mean, we're 1.5 hours in.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you have like how much time you have left. We might introduce a 3rd episode if you're up to it. I'm all game.
I think we might as well just finish up here with like trying out like the bugs or like the thing that we're missing seems to be on the sold. Should we try and do the token?
Yes. Let's do that. So then instead of, I guess, doing these, I can just create a separate button for doing group 3. So we just configure group 4, I guess. So instead of looping all over this stuff, instead of looping all over this stuff, come on, bro. I'm just going to say group 4, which is the one we're going to mint. And we're going to here say GRP 4.
Oh, 1 second. Oh, wait. Well, doesn't matter, but we were specifying the name there, or no?
Yes.
Oh, because that might be.
Should it be the index?
So no, the problem was that we were trying to mint with GRP3, but the group name was GRP1 still.
Well, we had it dynamically here.
Oh, yeah, never mind. Yeah, okay.
Should get it over the label.
Yeah, right.
And here as well, I guess.
Yeah, you're right.
So now we have GRP4. We do have a BotX. We don't have a sold payment. We have a token payment instead. We also don't have an allow list. So token payment, sum.
Mint and destination ATA, yes.
Now, destination API is definitely not this one because it's the same as the mint. So that's something we need to adjust. And
it's not even the mint seems to be the last address of the allow list, I think, if I saw that correctly.
Luckily, this is stuff that's being provided by our guards, so we can just freely copy this from here. And then I guess for those looking at automating this at some point, yeah, sure, this structure here is exactly the same as what's here. So it should be fairly easy to make some logic. You can check if underscore option equals sum or none, and then do the conditional.
We probably don't need the amount there. Yeah, we don't need the amount in the mint. Yeah. We just need the,
Let's get rid of it. Now, refresh. I'm going to check. I own currently 3 and 5. Fine. It doesn't charge me any fees.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. I guess so. And to make this a bit more coherent, this is clearly the effects of a live stream. This is what we figured out. I guess it would be good for us to get a grasp on what's happening off chain, probably fix it, and then in part 3 of this series show the fix, and now we understand. And that, I guess it would, on one end, it would be an honor if it was an issue on the library side and not on my end, because I feel less of an idiot.
No, but it's very, very strange.
We did mint number 14. So, and this is kind of where it gets interesting now. If I would put this on mainnet as of today, and I wouldn't really check this twice, I would basically give away my NFTs for free.
Yeah.
Instead of charging it. So is it a critical issue? Well, if it's a bug, yeah, pretty critical. I don't think it's a bug. I think I'm doing something wrong here, but still. So this just got paid. It's the only one. And then I'm going to zoom out a little bit. The token balance here, should be no change. And the interesting thing is the fact that token balance here shows up, I think, is because my token account is part of the transaction.
Yeah.
So it's somewhere in the transaction accounts list. What is it? It's the ENS thing, right? My destination token. That one is right here.
Yeah.
Part of the transaction. So it does take it into account. It doesn't seem to enforce it.
Yeah. I'll chat with Tony and the other DevRels and engineers team to see what's going on.
Yeah.
I believe so. It will be very, very strange if it's I'm really at a loss of words, just because I don't believe it's like, I'm at a loss of words.
No, yeah, but same. And I guess in general, so if people come to you with a computer issue, it's always nice if you can show what's happening, because you must have had the same, that somebody asks you, Leo, come check out my issue, and they run it and it works.
Yeah.
And they say, well, I'm 100% sure because I tried it 20 times, and before you were here, it wasn't working. The moment you step foot, it works. Now, that's luckily not the case. I think it's highly unlikely that it's a bug in the issue. Like, one of the things that I can imagine might be different. Maybe we're invoking a program on DevNet that's not up to date. Maybe it's something on that side. We need a redeploy, maybe.
I'm thinking about that, because for sure it shouldn't be on mainnet, just because I know people using it at the moment, and I know they are not finding any seems to not have any problems.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna try and yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to give you more work, bro. So there's no stress for this. It doesn't have to be BLS052. So we can just I'm just going to give you time to figure it out. We'll be in touch. I'm going to verify these things before we hop on stream, hopefully fix it. Because quite frankly, this was the area where it all became very messy. I got the ideas of different groups and I have some logic that does this, but I couldn't get the basics working. And then I felt yeah, but what I'm actually building here if I can't really verify and test this? So
yeah,
on that end, I'm super happy that we're running into the same stuff here. I hope it's been interesting for others regardless. Yeah, I guess it's probably good to wrap here with disregards, and then we have a nice isolated thing, and then the following session, part 3 of this series about Metaplex Core minting, we'll go over the fix on how to properly set this up. So we'll do a very similar thing, adjust our script, look over what we did in the BLS052 repo, and then take the other advanced stuff for the next one. And I guess we might do a little bit less live stream. We might actually give a test run on what we actually want to talk about and show. And that should walk us through it a little bit more. So we're going to do a live stream, but then staged one, I guess, or at least a bit more prepared.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, I guess that's then a wrap for today. Leo, thank you so much for hacking with me. It was great pleasure again. I had a lot of fun. Yeah, and it's a realistic view in how development goes. Sometimes just stuff doesn't work. So I'm sure you also have other stuff that you now switch to, and you have something else to worry about. Same here, so you guys don't have to be worried that we're now bored and without stuff to do, because there's always more stuff to do. But yeah, thanks so much. Not sure if you have anything to add, anything to any insights or.
No, I guess. Thank you for having me, Beeman. I'm so sorry that happened.
That's great.
But as you said, sometimes you just need to call the cavalry and try to figure it out some other way. And if you're a developer on Solana, you really know that this is the thing, because most of the time it's I don't really know why is it wrong and where is it broken. Can you please help me? And so, so this is a realistic view of developing on Solana.
Yeah, it is. It's also what makes it interesting. And if we would only do stuff that we already knew, we'd probably be very bored with our jobs and with our projects. So yeah, amazing. Thanks so much, Leo, and thanks everybody for watching. We had a record 263 streams. I think that's wow. blowing up the numbers. But regardless. People in the chat, glad you were here. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye-bye, guys.